Thank you for tuning in to Ungentrified with Kent Johnson. Ungentrified takes an unfiltered view on pop culture, music, television and film, politics, current events, and topics central to the worldwide Black community. Ungentrified is a safe audio space for celebrating Black culture in its purest form. Thank you for joining another episode of Ungentrified. Of course, this is your boy, your host, Kent Johnson, and I can't wait to dig into today's topic. So we're going to slide past what we normally do with the current events and go right into what's on your radar. So everybody that comes on the show, I ask them, what's on their radar at the moment. So whatever is hot to them, whatever is their favorite jam, whatever book they're reading, whatever rabbit hole they've fallen into on YouTube, what their main focus is, like what's your attention focused on right now?
Well, right now my attention is I'm on this week fast actually for about a week. It's the Daniel fast. So we, me and my church are doing it. It's something that we do periodically just to kind of detox and to regain focus on what's important. So I would say that's pretty much what my focus is on this week.
So are you on your last day?
It's over tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
So how'd you do?
I think I did pretty well. Man. I actually did pretty good. I would say. I'm kind of used to it now. At one point when I was a little younger, it'd be too hard. We actually, this was actually an easy one because it's only 7 days. We actually be on 21-day fast, man, and that giant killed me. You know what I mean? So
break it down for people who don't know what the Daniel fast is. What are you abstaining from right now?
Okay, so I'm abstaining from certain foods. So we eat anything that comes from the ground, natural stuff, no meats, no sugars, man. No alcohol, no sex, no anything that will be a distraction. So it's crazy.
More power to you. I've done fast before, not as intense as the one you just laid out. But I've abstained from like meat. I wish I could say I could abstain from sugar. Like that's my crutch. Sugar and carbs.
Mine too, man. I'm addicted to candy and sugar, bro. I need to do better with that. So I love when I got to go on a fast because it helps me kind of refocus that for real.
Well, I'm glad I caught you at the end of your fast because that means you're super focused for the discussion that we have at hand today. So Let's see what's on my radar at the moment. I guess you know what our things kind of sync up. So I've been really digging into or finding out information around like natural remedies for skincare. So I had the week of my birthday, which was at the end of August, I had this breakout, like this pimple right in the middle of my face, right? and I knew I was gonna have to be in front of a whole bunch of people. I was going to Afropunk in Brooklyn that weekend to work. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh man, I can't let this go on its own. I tried to rush it and put like, was it like salicylic acid on it? And it burnt my face. So
yeah.
So I'm freaking out about it. And when I got back, I was like, I'm not putting any more chemicals on my face. I want all like natural remedies or natural kind of regimens for my face. So I hit up my homegirl in Thailand. Shout out to Kedra if you're listening. Kedra is a woman who knows all about like natural remedies and like using nature for helpful intentions. So she gave me this full-on intensive regimen to work by. So I've been doing that because I knew I was going to have to be in front of people's faces again last night,
Yeah. Last
and
night.
and in the next couple of weeks. So I've been really into that. Music wise, nothing new has been on my radar. Nothing new has caught my ear. I've been listening to old stuff and going back and listening to old podcasts that I did. I don't know why. I listen to them when I edit them, but after that, I let them free and don't touch them again. But I started listening to old ones again to kind of see what other people were hearing and the end result. Yeah, that's what's been on my radar right now. But
Dope.
yeah, that's not why I brought you here.
No, that's cool. Hey, but listen, I want to know about this skin regimen though. Like,
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna need to maybe take some tips from that, brother.
Yeah, so
You know what I'm saying?
she got me putting aloe on my skin at night.
Okay.
I'm doing a mask with lemon juice and turmeric.
And turmeric.
Yeah, like the spice.
Okay.
So it's supposed to be good with like hyperpigmentation and stuff like that.
That's lit. I have to take that.
Yeah. What else have I been doing? Oh, I've been washing my face every night with black soap.
The black soap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, if it's the true black soap, it ain't black.
Right.
That was something I knew, but got reiterated to me in my regimen breakdown. And then, like, getting enough sleep, drinking enough water, I'm supposed to be abstaining from meat. I try to stick to that.
All right.
But a brother be hungry sometimes.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I definitely feel you.
But I have seen a major change in my face in the last couple of weeks. So again, shout out to Kedra for hooking me up with that regimen.
That's dope. Do you have to drink a lot of water with it?
Yeah, I mean, I drink a lot of water anyway. The only non-water thing I keep in my house is kombucha.
Okay.
So, and like tea. But yeah, so that's not hard for me. The only time I'll have like non-water is if it's wine or it's Sprite going into a drink or something like that.
I got you. Now that's cool.
So you guys are probably wondering who I've been talking to for the last couple of minutes, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. So go ahead and tell the people who you are.
Well, I'm Wade Menendez, also known as Wade the Barber. I'm a master hair loss specialist and salon owner. Own 2 locations in the DMV area, the W Hair Loft. And I'm kind of been a pioneer the last 4 years for this. Y'all know it as the man weave, but I call it the hair unit installation for guys and ladies that are losing their hair due to alopecia, cancer, whatever. Man, I've been doing that. I also am the CEO of the Wade H. Menendez Foundation. It's a nonprofit that I started maybe 2 years ago. You know, we work with the homeless, we work with adolescent teens, guys coming from getting out of prison as well, doing scholarships and different things like that. So it's been a dope little journey. So that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, and part of that breakdown of the many things that Wade does is why I brought him here. Wade and I have been talking back and forth for a while, but we were finally able to get on each other's schedules because we were both recognized at a award ceremony yesterday for being a healthy image of manhood in the Black community. So shout out to Aaron Follins for recognizing the things that we've both been doing in our respective communities and the collective community. But we were finally able to link up. And I've been wanting to have this conversation for a minute because these are things that I've had in conversations with friends, colleagues, in positive aspects and in negative aspects. And then this just seems to be a topic in our community, period, where, the idea of the man weave really came like a storm in the last maybe year and a half or so.
Yeah, it's gotten more popular probably the last, I would say the last 2 years, definitely.
Yeah. So I wanted to have that conversation because I think this is something that is, I'm not even going to say think. I know it's something that's on every guy's mind is whether or not he's going to lose his hair or how fast it's going to happen and what are their options or if they even feel they have options. So figured, hey, why not bring the expert? Why not bring the man who's going
That's
across the country
crazy.
and teaching other people
Yeah.
how to do this for folks everywhere?
Yeah, yeah, it's been crazy. I've maybe taught over 400 people so far on how to do it. So it's been a dope journey. But
Yeah. So let's start at the beginning. Let's start when people still have their hair. So, as a barber, as a stylist, are you honest with your customers when they start to lose their hair? Are you the one that tells them, or do you let them find that out on their own?
so I mean, you know when you're losing your hair. You know what I mean? I don't normally tell them. Just be like, hey, you're losing your hair. Now, what I will do is suggest sometimes if they ask me, I'll tell them certain things to do to get their hair a little fuller because there's certain things you can use to get it to prevent certain things. Now at it's only but so much I can do. You know what I mean? I'm not a dermatologist and I'm not that's I can give you a remedy, a solution after you've already lost it in a sense. You know what I mean? So I usually let them kind of make that decision. Yeah, because I try not to. That's a sensitive thing for guys.
Yeah,
You know what
I
I
would
mean?
think so.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear that, especially not like on a Friday at the shop.
Exactly. So there's all kinds of enhancements that I do, and usually in all my cuts anyway, with the fibers and hair color if you need it. Yeah, I let them because you look at your hair every day. So you know if you're losing it or not. Actually, I usually tell my clients. It's funny because some guys be like, "Man, I think I'm ready. I'm about to cut my hair off, or I need one of them the units, man." And I'm like, "Bro, you're not there yet. Like you OD and like you jumping the gun, bro. Like you good. You actually in a place where you can kind of save it, or you kind of do certain things to kind of make it happen. You don't have to get no whole unit yet. Just yet."
so so you can reverse some of the
Just
law.
a little bit. I mean, there are certain things you can use, like Jamaican castor oil, different remedies that you can kind of do to kind of promote the growth. You know what I mean? And getting the blood circulated so that the hair can grow a little more. But that don't work for everybody. Everybody's case is different. So
So Barack Obama's President Barack Obama's barber, he put out the theory that if you make it to 45 with your hairline intact, your genetics are why. And at that point, he was like, if you have your hair pretty much where it is by then, you're probably not going to lose it.
yeah,
Is that something you agree with?
I would agree. I would agree because I mean, most guys that are losing their hair, man, you start losing it at that's a lot of guys 20s, in the 20s that are losing their hair. I mean, I've seen even younger than that. You know what I mean? So if you still have it intact at 40 something, yeah,
You
you
good?
got it.
Yeah, I was pulling up like statistics on it, and it said that by the age of 35, two-thirds of, and this is just for American men, two-thirds of men will experience some degree of appreciable hair loss. And by the age of 50, approximately 85% of men have significant thinning hair. And 25% of that two-thirds start in their early 20s, which is crazy to me. But I mean, like, we're all men of a certain age. We look back at pictures of our friends and they look completely different. Yeah, and I know, some of my boys who were by 24, like it was gone.
Yeah.
And just in some people, their change in demeanor or confidence around that. Is there, or do you think there's a reason why we as men are so attached to our hair? Or is it just men? Well, no, we know it's
Yeah,
not
well,
just men, but
it's women as well.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but your hair, I mean, your hair is, I guess what you can say it's your glory. It's like It's a thing that for guys, I think it's if you're losing your hair, that's a sign of you getting older. Or for some guys, and they just like, listen, I don't want to be bald. But then there's some guys that don't look. They just feel like they don't look good with a bald head.
Yeah.
It ain't for everybody. And there's a lot of guys that for what I do, there's a lot of guys be like, oh well, nah, I'm gonna just cut my hair bald. And there's a demographic of guys that be like, listen, I don't look good with no bald hair. I ain't ready to quite let it go yet. And we're attached to our hair, man. Even I do actors and stuff like that. So even with that, like there's some actors that won't, get certain roles if you don't have hair. You know what I mean? You only get cast for different types of roles. You know what I mean? And there's certain looks. Some people just want a certain look. They just ain't ready to let it go yet.
Yeah. I was in the shop one day and my barber and another barber in the shop were just talking about how back in the day, like in the 80s and early 90s, everybody was doing some kind of like hair enhancement, whether it was dye or fibers. He was like, this isn't really new.
No.
Yeah. And he was like, a lot of times we didn't see it because we didn't have like HD and stuff. So it's easy to pick up on now. But we were watching an episode of Martin, and he was like, yo, look right there. Like you can see it a little bit better now. Yeah.
Martin, Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
A couple guys. Steve Harvey.
Yeah, so he told me he was like Steve Harvey was wearing a unit way before anybody had that conversation about that. So it was shocking for me to see. I mean, I kind of knew it, but not to think that it was on such a larger scale than we assumed. But now it's something that's accessible to the masses. So let's go through. Let's have a role play. Let's imagine that you get a call and someone's like, "Hey, I'm looking to get a unit installed." What are the kinds of questions you're asking them to figure out if they're at that space?
Well, what we normally do is at this point, all right. So I'll give you a little history. So I used to do in-person consultations. So people used to come in and I'll assess what they need, and they'll tell me what they actually want. There are some guys that will want something that they can't really get. So it's
what does that mean?
So that means you may want so if you have total alopecia where you can't grow any hair, I can't give you a fade like that. Now I could do something and make it look like a fade, but it won't last. I need something to blend into. So most of the guys, have the male pattern baldness is usually on top, and so you have you can grow the sides in the back. In most cases, and if you have that, then I can fade it. You know what I mean? So I have something that naturally grows from your scalp that I can fade. So there's some guys. They may have more coarser hair, but they want something that's very, curly and silky. Now I can do it. I just don't recommend you doing that. You know what I mean? Because you want it to look as natural as possible according to your hair texture. So those are different things. But so we do the consultation. And people will ask all kinds of questions, man. I mean, they ask, what kind of adhesive do you use? Are you using Elmer's glue? Are you, is their scalp won't break out because of it? Man, they asking all kinds of stuff. If they drive and it's gonna blow off, it's gonna fall off. You know what I mean? And so I have that conversation of just making them feel more comfortable with their decision. Because it's not just gonna fall off. Now, if you don't do the proper maintenance, you know what I mean, then I don't know. I can't promise what will happen if you don't do the maintenance with it. But there are different types, and so I have some units that last maybe 2 weeks, some that last 2 months, some last 4 or 5 months. It all depends which one you want to get. So that used to be how I do it, right? So now at this point, because of the volume and also because of people traveling from all over the world, you're not gonna just come make a flight just to come do a consultation. So now at this point, I have my assistant. They send pictures of their hair and then also of the style that they want to get, and so that's how we kind of do it now. So I also have like a frequently asked question part on my website now that kind of answers most of the normal questions. So they usually go there and look at it and kind of get some of the answers, and if not, they ask my assistant. But Yeah, so that's pretty much how that works.
So you said you have pieces that last from anywhere from 2 weeks to 5 months.
Yeah, there's some that you can now. It's like the hair will last you that long, but I recommend people doing the unit maintenance. You know what I mean, where you come in and let me wash it, reapply it, or do certain things so you can so it can stay fresh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because now I have a whole new set of questions. So, okay, if I were someone who got a 5 month unit installed, how am I maintaining that? Do I have to like reapply? Do I have to put new adhesive on? Like, what
Yeah,
does that look like?
yeah. So, depending on your activity levels and also your perspiration, like how you sweat and yeah, just your activity and how you take care of stuff. The adhesive lasts for a while, but after a while it'll wear off. So you need to come back and reapply it. Now there's some people I also sell adhesive as well. I have a little line out, and so I'll let them buy it, and they can do it at home if they know what they're doing.
Okay.
Now,
Is it hard to learn?
it ain't hard. It ain't hard to learn. I have some instructions on my website, but doing it on yourself it could be a little challenging. So you may have to have some help from somebody to help you because you can't see everything. I know even for me, I've been cutting my hair since I was 12. Doing your own it could be a little challenge, especially when you get to the back.
Yeah.
You can't really see for real.
Right, and you're relying on a mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to learn reverse motor skills.
Yeah, most definitely.
Which is why I don't cut my hair. I can line up my beard. The front is on point. I can even hit the sides right here, but in the back, no. I'll get somebody who on wit to be like, yo, just tap it up real quick if I need that.
I feel it.
So, how are you getting your clients? Are a lot of them referrals, or are people coming to you on their own?
So I have a lot of referrals, and then a large percentage of them, the greater percentage I would say, is from social media, from Instagram, YouTube. I've done a lot of YouTubers, like popular YouTubers that even have millions of followers, and so from that, them doing stories or doing videos of me, it's got me a lot of business. So from that and social media and my website, I would say those are the main things.
Yeah, because I would think that that's not a conversation that men have with each other. Like,
Nah.
yeah, so I got this piece in, yo, you should really, you losing too, man. Check out my brother Wade.
Yeah, for the most part, that's how it goes. But then there's some they'll tell their friends, their immediate friends. They won't actually, like, a lot of people don't let me post pictures or let me take pictures, stuff like that. But they'll tell, if you close to them, because it's like, come on, like, a person that see you all the time, they know that you ain't got no hair, right? So then you pop up with hair, and it's like, what you do? You can't really keep that a whole secret. And
Yeah.
there's some people that actually is funny because I do require people to have a certain amount of growth before they come to me, and so, man, that'd be the funny them telling me the stories of how they had to wear a hat for that month or so to grow their hair, and not to, some people wear hats to work, so it won't be as obvious when they come back with hair. It's like, oh, I've been growing my hair out. That's why I got this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because there's a prep period that comes with what you do. They can't just come in and be like a 1 grade on the Clippers and be ready to go. Like they have to. It's almost like a a grace period. Like, all right, you got these 3 weeks of this month to grow this hair out and figure out if you really want to do it. It's like this your last little bit of feeling ashamed or concerned about your hairline before you come in. Yeah, it's almost like you're going through hell to get to the promised, the promised hairline. So,
no, that's real. That's real.
Yeah, because I've had coworkers where everybody was like, they had the wide eyes that day that person came in. It was like we knew what it was, but it was kind of those you don't ask, you don't tell. Because I know people who everybody knows, but they've not had that conversation with them.
Yes, I mean, it could be a little touchy.
Yeah, I mean, it's extremely touchy. Nobody wants to. well, I'm gonna say nobody. Very few people are ready to admit that they have gotten any kind of enhancement, especially if they feel like they don't have to admit it.
Right.
Cause you think about it, it's what I see 20 people who see me regularly versus the rest of the world. I don't care what the rest of the world think. So hey, don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, man. Those stories, man, and with them trying to grow their hair and feeling crazy with that, and then I feel bad too because like I'm on usually it's like a 2 month waiting period, so you have to be proactive if you make an appointment. So you can't make it the last minute, even if you had enough hair to come in. A lot of times I can't get you, so you still gonna have to wait. You know what I mean? So
What are the kinds of comments you see on social media about the work that you do when you're posting people or the comments about the videos?
all kinds of stuff. Sorcery. This is witchcraft. You know, what kind of magician are you? Barber Jesus. Like all like all kinds of stuff, man. Yes.
Is it more women commenting or men?
I say it's pretty equal.
Yeah.
It's pretty equal. Now there's some ladies that would be on there. Nah, this ain't right. I'm not dating no man with no weave. Woo, but she got a weave. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's a double standard, man. And it's funny. My work was featured on BET on that show Man Cave.
Mm-hmm.
And even Tank had talked about the perspective of it. Like just you shouldn't have a double standard like that. You know what I mean? Just because a guy want to care about his look and enhance it, it shouldn't be a problem, especially females. Y'all been doing it for forever. Now, I would say some of the ladies actually have a problem with it because guys have gotten on them for having weaves.
Right.
There's some guys that won't date a girl with a weave, you know what I mean? Or, have a problem with it, whatever. So, I mean, I could get it I understand it from all angles. But definitely, if you have a weave as a lady, I just feel like you should not have it.
But the loudest people be the wrongest ones at the same time. So, okay, I've come in to your spot. I've had my consultation. I got my 3 or 4 weeks of hair ready to go. I'm in the chair. What does that process look like? So what are you doing when the person sits in your chair?
Pretty much, without giving you too many details.
Yeah, I'm not going to
come to my class.
Right, don't give away the trade secrets.
My next class is October 8th. Come on. But so yeah, I reassess what they want to get because sometimes people will switch up from the time when they made the appointment with my assistant and all the pictures and everything, and sometimes they'll switch up and be like, "Okay, I want to do this. I want to do this." So I want to make sure that I have the correct hair, and I got like a room full of hair, so I'm always prepared for whatever, you know what I mean. So we do that, and I do the procedure.
How long does that typically take?
It usually takes about an hour to 2 hours, depending on what I got to do and actually how tired I am. So depending, if you catch me and I'm moving a little slow, I mean I'm a little tired. So it could take up to 2 hours, depending, But usually an hour and a half is normal. So so we do that. We do the procedure and they out. You pay me my money. I'll give you some instructions on how to take care of it, and we good. So that's usually because I can't really go into too.
Yeah, I'm not going to put you out on pressure. We want to make sure you stay paid.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
So answer me this: how much are you getting paid for a 2-week installation?
My 2-week units, they usually are like anywhere from $250 to $300.
Okay, so that's a massive financial commitment too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, people who come into you, your regular customers, if they're doing units, are they doing them and then taking like a rest period, or they keep re-upping?
Most of them keep re-upping, but some of them do take a little periods of rest. Where they know they'll just wear their hat or something, depending on the kind of job or work they do. But most of them keep it consistent, even if it look crazy, like they have it on their head looking crazy until they can get back in.
Yeah,
I feel bad about that sometimes. But then some of them just they think it's cool. Like I'm good.
Yeah, because I think about it, I was like, we've all seen the woman who's had the the extensions, the weaving for just a little too long.
Just a little too long.
You know,
crazy.
Right.
Oh, God.
So how does that look for a guy who's gotten a unit put in? Like, is it starting to lift up? Is it?
Yeah. It's definitely, some of it is lifting up, but then depending on how they tied up at night, it'll lay down. It won't just like fall off unless they're doing a lot of activity. But then sometimes it just don't look right, and like your shape up ain't right. It just, certain things is just, But all right, so I teach people all over the world to do it, and so if I have a client that comes, because a lot of my clients coming from all out of the country, from different states and stuff like that, so I send them to a barber most times in their area that can maintain it for them. And even if you don't get a new unit, if you got a barber that can cut and that can do a little enhancing, it can still look halfway decent.
You opened up the door I was about to kick down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like, okay, so it's installed. I done paid you my $250. Whew. Yeah.
Dang, that's the cheap one,
Right,
man.
and that's what I said. That's the cheap one. I done paid you my $250. Now I go back to wherever I'm at, and it's time for that haircut. Are you instructing your clients to tell their barbers that they have a unit, or they?
Yeah.
Is this another time where they silent on the situation?
So some of them be silent. It's funny because I've gotten a few barbers to come take my class because they've gotten one of my clients that had a unit that went to them and didn't tell them. And he's like, man, I never knew that. And it's like, man, I gotta come learn because this ain't look so natural like it is. So it just depends. But yeah, I tell them to give their barber heads up, and I tell them what not to fade. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to cut the blend, the hair that's hanging to blend. You don't want to have a barber cut that and then that joint look crazy, like it's a blunt. Just you can see the difference. You know what I mean? Where the line of demarcation is. So I tell them, if you want to maintain this, and if you're gonna go to a barber, especially a barber that don't know you, let them know what you got going on.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of change and effort and upkeep that goes into that. It's not just, you walk out Wade shop and you good until you decide you need a re-up.
Yeah. And I try to manage people's expectations before they get there. You know what I mean? Let them know, listen, there's going to be some maintenance. Some more than others, some as not as much, because it depends on how you take care of it. You know what I mean? But if it's something you want to do, man, anything that is that's worth having, even in a marriage or in a relationship, you're gonna have to put some work behind it. So if it's something that you want, you're gonna have to do what it takes to keep it up. You know what I mean? And for a lot of guys, it is a little different because you used to just going to the barbershop and just waking up and brushing your hair. Some don't brush their hair at all, but just keep it going. You know what I mean? Keep it moving. But yeah, it's a little different. It's not a lot though. It's definitely not a lot of maintenance. Nothing crazy. But it's just not as simple as getting a haircut. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Have you had guys that have gone with other methods for hair enhancement? Because as much as we've seen the unit installation rise, we've seen a lot of like the permanent tattoo hairlines coming back. Does that actually damage the scalp at all? Or have you had clients that have gotten that and then came to you for a unit?
Yeah, probably a good 40% of my clients that come to me for the units have gotten that before, and either the ink changes colors on them, or they don't like it no more. They want more hair, so I end up putting a unit over top of that. And then there's some guys that have gotten the surgery. A lot of my clients have had the surgery where they take the hair from the back of your head and put it on top, and insert it into your scalp.
That's what Safari?
I believe that's what Safari got. Yep, Safari and
which I was surprised he was very. I think he had to be bold.
Well, he had to because nigga put him in glasses. But they do that. But even with that, you still a lot of times, even Safari. I mean, I know because I've seen him in person a couple of times. You still have to do enhancements with that. Like that's not full hair. That's fibers in Beijing to make it fuller. And then you have to do that a couple times in order to get it really where you want it to be. So, and that's that could be very expensive. 10 G's a pop.
Yeah, I think he said it cost like 10 G's, or she said when she called him out that it cost like 10 G's.
Yeah. So some guys ain't ready. They're not ready to drop the bread like that for that type of procedure. And like I said, it doesn't work for everybody. It's a chance that you know, and then there's maintenance with that because you have to take Propecia sometimes, and you got to go back to re-up on that and do different things. So that could be very expensive. You know what I mean? Especially it'll still be thin. So
have you ever had someone come to you, get a piece, and then come back and be like, you know what, it really wasn't for me. I did it and it wasn't my thing.
Yep. I've had that. I've had people that you know, that do it once and then they just be like, you know what, this isn't for me. But then there's a lot of people that stick with it too. So anything though, man, everything for everybody. You know, some guys are just curious about it. I even have guys that come, they could grow their hair. They don't even need a unit. They just don't want to wait the time to grow it up. So they want, and I hate that because I actually sent people home for because I don't want to. If you don't need a unit, I don't want to cut your hair off to put more hair. You know what I'm saying? I feel it's defeating the purpose. And there's some guys that feel like they need it, and their hair is not as bad yet. So I'll tell them too. I was like, bro, I'm not. I don't. This isn't for you. So we'll do a haircut, and we'll do maybe other enhancements, whatever. But I wouldn't suggest, because what happens sometimes it's a little tricky because they send the pictures. And sometimes depending on the light and different things, certain things look different. Like I have a client, even recently, his pictures, he had no hair, he shaved it off or whatever. But once he let it grow back, it was fuller than what he thought. And so now he's like, man, I'm good. I think just give me a haircut. But so they pay a deposit. I require half before you even come sometimes. Well, every time. And so you ain't getting your money back, but at the end of the day, if you want to still come and get a haircut, I can make that happen for you.
The extension of the extension is now we've started to see units for facial hair, for like beards and stuff. Are you doing that, or is that a place you're not going?
No, I do it too.
You do that too? Okay, so how is that process? Is it similar, or is it?
It's similar. Apply the hair to the face. Just make it happen. Yeah, we do it. Actually, I just had a young lady email me for her fiance.
Are you seeing a lot of that where women will ask for their men?
Yeah. Most of the time, no, I can't say most, but there's a nice percentage of ladies that will make appointments for their guys. I even had guys. They were. I used to allow them to come to the appointment as well. I stopped that now. They can come, but they have to sit in the front part. You're not gonna be back there. So I ended up having to deal with a whole bunch of questions, just a bunch of, and I don't like people standing on my shoulder while I'm working anyway. Right. So, and then I had one girl, I did his unit, and she was like, "Oh nah, take it off, cause he gonna cheat on me. I can look at him right now. He's feeling himself too much. That joint look too good." And she was serious. She was like, this ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work. And I'm like, well, what you make the appointment for? I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what you thought I was going to do a bad job? Like,
right,
you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
So now I don't let them come no more, man, because they be tripping sometimes. Yeah, it's a real thing, man.
So has anyone come in and got, like, the full shebang? Like, I got my head unit, I got my face unit.
Now I haven't did both. That's a lot. That's a lot.
I just called that in the bin. You about to get that call God. Right now.
Everything. Golly. No. I haven't had that yet where I had to do both. No.
But he will do it.
My God. I listen. You paying, I'll do it. I got you. Say no more.
I'm mad about the boy.
Yo. I had to ban them from coming, man. Then I had females too, and other people too. Like people will come with somebody and be secretly trying to record and all that stuff.
Trying to get
just trying to learn process. So they ain't got to pay for the class. Yeah. So,
get this black man his money.
Yeah, man. Crazy, man.
Pay the teacher.
My people.
All right. I tell you. Wade, before I let you go, Tell the people where they can get their unit at. Where can they find out more about you?
Hey, man, you can find out more at www.wadethebarber.com, and that is THE, not DA. Wadethebarber.com. You can make appointments for units, haircuts, whatever. You found all my information on my website. On all social media outlets, it's Wade the Barber or Wade Menendez. So, yeah, come holler at me if you ever need that hair unit installation in your life.
Yes. And if you are a hair professional and you want to take the class, where would they find that information?
All that is on my website as well. So on the events, you will find out where my next in-person hands-on class is, and I also do online classes. So wherever you are in the world, I've had people from Israel, from the UK, from everywhere taking the class online. So you can access that at any time. Doesn't matter. That's on my website as well, wadethebarber.com.
And I said I had nothing else to ask you. Now I do have something to ask you. How many non-Black men are coming in to get your services?
So it's only about a 2%. 2%. I don't do a lot of other races right now, and I think more so because now I have a lot of them hit me now. So most of it because I don't get a chance to post as many on my page. So people be like, okay, well he doesn't do my type of hair, So they'll ask, but sometimes they don't make the appointments. Depending, they want to see more of that. So I'm actually working on trying to get more models because a lot of people don't. I may do a unit. Man, it's very, 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 very rare for somebody to let me post their pictures.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I'm always excited when guys, because I don't like to have to block your face out and do all that. You know what I mean. So I'm excited when guys don't mind me posting their pictures or whatever. So yeah, so that's probably about 2%, I would say.
Yeah.
But even it's funny because social media right now, I've been having a lot of guys from like Dominican Republic, from Turkey, Russia, Nigeria, different places like that. That's been inquiring about the units, but it's hard because a lot of them can't come here.
Right. So that means you got to get on a plane.
I know, man. I'm working on doing a class in Nigeria in December. I'm going out there and working and doing some mission work as well. But I got to do a little tour.
Yeah, you gotta get them rands in South Africa. Get them pesos. Get all of that. Get that yen. All of it. Yeah. Them pounds. All of the coins.
Yeah. I got another. I'm not doing a class in London, but I am going there to work in 2 weeks actually. So I'm looking forward to going back out there. Last time I was there, I got kicked out because I didn't have a work visa. Another story.
Oh, okay. No. Okay. I got one more question, and then I'm officially let you go.
No, you're good, right?
And I'm gonna cut this if it's too messy.
Okay.
What celebrity would you want to put a unit on?
Would I want to put a unit on?
Yeah.
Man. Well, everybody always tag me in LeBron stuff, right? I would love to do LeBron, but I do know that his barber just learned how to do it too. So
okay.
I think that may be nothing. I taught this barber at one point about coming to a class, but it never worked out. He ended up going to another guy that I know to learn. So it was cool. But yeah, I can't. I don't know. I'm open to whatever celebrity they want to come.
Whoever got the check.
Exactly. I mean, I've done a few people. I can't say any names, but I've done a few people, and I had a lot of celebrities that actually have hit me to inquire about it, but they don't follow through sometimes, depending on because football players wearing helmets and all that stuff, and all that. So.
Yeah, Wade, thank you so much for coming through.
My pleasure, man. My pleasure, bro.
And dropping some knowledge on this because I know that people really wanted to know what goes into the man weave or the hair unit or the technical term which I learned in research for this is cranioprosthesis.
Yeah.
So thank you for having this conversation. I feel like we could have talked far longer about this. But if they want to know more, they need to go take your class.
Take the class. I'm always willing to teach you. Most definitely. Most definitely.
Of course, thank you to you guys for listening. If you want to support the show, which I hope you do, follow us on Instagram or Twitter at Ungentrified Pod. Of course, you can follow me, your host, on Instagram and Twitter as well at Kent W. Johnson. You can also check out other episodes on the website, ungentrifiedpodcast.com, or wherever you may listen to podcasts. If it's on Apple Podcasts, do me a favor, hit that review, give me 5 stars, and then take it a step further and type out how much you love the show. That really helps me out. Also, subscribing definitely helps me out, and it helps you out too. So you don't have to constantly go and see if I dropped a new episode. It'll take care of it for you. Outside of that, tell a friend. That also helps as well. And if you have any comments, you can email gentrified@kentwjohnson.com. Wade, again, thank you for chopping it up with me.
Man, my pleasure, bro. Most definitely, man. It's an honor to be here with you.
Cool. And I will check you guys next time. Peace.